This recording is going to start Chapter 2 for Body Structure, Color, and Oncology. Our first objective is to pronounce the anatomic structures of the human body. Now, even though this course is 97% medical terms, you still need to have a brief understanding of anatomy. The textbook does a great job of giving a brief overview of every body system's anatomy at the beginning of every chapter. So let's get started. Here we have the organization of the human body. Your body is made up of 4 categories: cells, tissues, organs, and systems, and each one is built upon the previous one. So first we have a cell, basic unit of all living things. Before I continue, I want to explain the letters in parentheses. This is your pronunciation guide. The textbook and the PowerPoint slides do a really good job of trying to show the students how to correctly pronounce the terms. So you will see this pronunciation guide behind every term, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. Now, in your textbook, you will see additional terms that are not on your slides. For example, cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, and so forth. Again, the book goes into a little bit more explanation over the anatomy. The slides do not, but I do encourage you to take the few extra minutes to read over these extra words. I've tried my best to make sure that there are no exam questions over the anatomy part, but your homework, quizzes, practice assignments could have anatomy questions on those, so just be aware of that. So again, cell membrane, boundary of the cell, cytoplasm is the gel-like fluid inside the cell, and so forth. So when you have a group of similar cells that perform a specific function, then you have a tissue. And I'm going to go to the next slide, and there are 4 tissue types in your body. You have muscle tissue, which produces movement. Nervous tissue, responsible for coordinating and controlling body activities. Connective tissue, connects, supports, penetrates, and encases various body structures. And then you have epithelial tissue, major covering of the external surface of the body, forms membranes that line body cavities and organs, and is a major tissue in glands. So I'm going to go back one. And so then when you have a group of tissues that perform special body functions, then you have an organ. And then when you have a group of organs that work together to perform complex body functions, now you have a whole system. Now these are not on the slides, but they are in your book, table 2.1. There are 10 body systems, and actually these are all going to be individual chapters in your textbook, but I'm going to quickly just read over them because they're important, but again, we will go over them in more detail in every chapter. So first, integumentary system. That's your skin, nails, and glands. So your skin forms a protective covering for your body. It also regulates your body temperature and helps manufacture vitamin D. Your respiratory system, nose, pharynx, or throat. Again, the throat would be the layman's term or the non-medical person's term. You know, when a normal person goes to the doctor, they say my throat hurts. They don't say my pharynx hurts. Okay, so pharynx is the medical term. Throat would be the layman's term. Larynx, voice box, trachea, windpipe, bronchial tubes, and lungs. So of course, respiratory system performs respiration, which provides for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide within the body. Then we have the urinary system, kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra. It removes the waste material such as urine from the body. It regulates fluid volume and maintains electrolyte concentration. Then you have your reproductive system, which of course is different from men and women. The female reproductive system has your ovaries, uterine tubes, uterus, vagina, and mammary glands. The male reproductive system has the testes, urethra, penis, prostate gland, and associated tubes, and both reproductive systems are responsible for hereditary and reproduction. Cardiovascular system is your heart and blood vessels, so pumps and transports blood throughout the body. Then we have the lymphatic system, which is a network of vessels, ducts, nodes, and organs, provides for defense against infection and drainage of extracellular fluid. Then we have the digestive system. This is your gastrointestinal tract, so your mouth, esophagus, stomach, small and large intestines, and anus, plus some accessory organs such as the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. This prepares the food for use by the body cells and eliminates waste. Musculoskeletal system composed of muscle, bones, and joints, provides movement and framework for the body. It protects vital organs such as the brain, stores calcium, and produces red blood cells. Then we have the nervous system, composed of the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Regulates specific body activities by sending and receiving messages. And lastly, the endocrine system, composed of glands that secrete hormones, and those hormones regulate many specific body activities. Next, we're going to look at the body cavities. This is the same diagram that's in your book, and in your book it also gives you the definition of every specific body cavity. So a body cavity is just a hollow area that holds specific organs. So first of all, cranial cavity, space inside the skull or the cranium containing the brain. Spinal cavity, space inside the spinal column containing the spinal cord. Thoracic cavity, space containing the heart, aorta, lungs, esophagus, trachea, bronchi, and mediastinal area. Abdominal cavity, space containing the stomach, intestines, kidneys, adrenal glands, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, spleen, and ureters. Pelvic cavity, space containing the urinary bladder, certain reproductive organs, parts of the small and large intestine, and the anus. And then we have the abdominal pelvic cavity, which basically is the pelvic and abdominal cavity together. And here is just a short review quiz. So all they're doing is listing the 4 categories of the organization of the human body on the left, and then they have the answers but in the pronunciation form only, and you're supposed to tell which one is which. So again, you can always pause this recording here and just kind of do this on the side on a piece of paper. So again, pause it if you need to, otherwise I'm going to continue. So basic unit of all life, hopefully you chose cell. It's pronounced the S-E-L, but it's of course spelled C-E-L-L. 2, group of similar cells that perform a specific function. Hopefully you answered tissues. Number 3, 2 or more kinds of tissues that perform special body functions would be an organ. And then lastly, a group of organs that work together to perform complex body functions would be a system. So hopefully you got all of those correctly. And then the last thing for this recording for Objective 1 is this pronunciation key. This is Table 2.2 in your textbook. This is how you are going to learn how to pronounce words correctly. So this is very, very important. So first of all, words are distorted minimally to indicate proper phonic sound. Basically, they're just split up by syllables, okay? So we have doctor, doctor. The macron or macron, is pronounced either way, is that line above a letter, indicates the long vowel sound. So donate. The macron is above the O and the A, so each of those vowels has a long vowel sound. So donate. So the vowel will sound like the letter. So A as in say, E as in me, I as in spine, O as in no, U as in cute. Now, if a vowel does not have a macron or macron above it, so there's no markings, then it's going to have a short vowel sound, such as sad, the A, the get, sit, top, cut. Those are all short vowel sounds. And then primary accents are indicated by capital letters. So when you see capital letters together, that means that part of the word is stressed. The secondary accent, which is stressed but is not as strongly as the primary accent, is in italics. There may be geographical variations in pronunciations, of course, because people in Louisiana talk differently than people in California and everywhere around the world, of course. So again, let me repeat that last part though. When you have capital letters, that group of letters is stressed. And then the second accent is going to be the italic words. So the word altogether, the G-E-T-H is stressed altogether. So it's just a little bit more emphasis on that part. And then the medical term pancreatitis, the tie is emphasized, pancreatitis. The best way to fully understand pronunciation is just by repetition, and that happens a lot in this class. It's going to get monotonous just doing the same old exercises over and over, but that's really the only way you're really going to master medical terminology, whether it's spelling or pronunciation. There's audio glossaries in eCampus that you can access if you're not sure of how to pronounce something. But again, if you just follow the pronunciation guides, you should be able to pretty much pronounce the words correctly. So again, repetition practice is your best friend for this class. I'm going to